Well, it's been pissing down with rain out there all day, which means a very slow day here at work, so I decided to make another video. Right, I've been meaning to make this video for quite a while actually. I woke up sort of as a conscious entity, as a fully fledged human being, around about the age of 8 years old. Um, Prior to that, I was just a kid. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, at the age of 8, it was a big year for me actually that year. My mom got pregnant with my little brother, and we moved house from Marin County to Sonoma County, where we moved from a suburban house to a big sort of ranch-style farm. And if you grow up on a farm, you know as well as I do that there are always chores to be done. And this was a kind of new experience for me. Now, if you do a lot of chores outdoors, you spend an awful lot of time stuck in your head thinking. And I was always big on thinking anyway, but I remember the specific moment when I first sort of realized, stroke considered my own mortality and the implications of that. I was in the front garden doing some raking up of leaves and weeds and whatever else. And at that time, you know, we're talking 1970, and at that time we were doing moonshots. And I remember the thought process started off like this. I felt kind of sorry for the guys who were going up on the second moonshot because no matter what, they were never going to be as famous as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, um, because Neil and Buzz were first, and these guys were going to be second. And I just felt really sorry for them that they've done something so monumental with their life, something that only like, I think in the end, what, a dozen people have been on the moon, or 14, something like that? Not very many. So the men who have been on the moon are, for all intents and purposes, very elite in terms of their accomplishments. And yet, it was happening contemporaneously at the time, and I couldn't even remember their names, even though it was on the news and we talked about it in school, and I still couldn't remember their names, but I could remember Neil and Buzz. And I remember thinking about how sorry I felt for those guys that they weren't going to be remembered. And then it occurred to me that I had to do something with my life or I wouldn't be remembered. I started to think about it because it occurred to me that as long as there is civilization, people are going to know that Neil Armstrong was the first man to walk on the moon. And mind you, I was 8 years old, so these are the historical figures that were popping into my brain. I'm thinking, how can I do anything like Benjamin Franklin or George Washington or Julius Caesar? You know, I wanted to do something which meant that my name and my personality would echo down the centuries long after I departed this orb. And at the age of 8, I started panicking because it occurred to me that I might not be able to do anything with my life that would be significant enough to be remembered after I went. And I started having this whole cascade of thoughts. What could I do with my life? You know, I figured by the time I grew up, we would already be going to Mars back and forth on a regular basis. Yeah. Anyway, so I knew I couldn't be the first man to walk on Mars, and I'm thinking, well, no one's going to care by that time. You know, we'll probably be going to Jupiter and everything, and you know, I just didn't think that space was really where it was at for being remembered. I thought, what else could I do? I could cure the common cold, I thought to myself. And I thought, well, that doesn't matter because everybody that I cure who might know my name because they, you know, like Louis Pasteur, um, you know, I said, everybody that I cure will eventually die, and everyone else that's cured after them will eventually die. And no matter how many people know my name after I'm dead, all those people who remember my name, they're going to die too. So what's the fucking point? I remember saying out loud, it's just a blip. You know, my life is just a blip. It seems to me that no matter what you accomplish in this world, you come and you go, and it's a blip. And in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't even matter what you do, because your life comes and goes in a blink of an eye when you look at the big picture. Anyways, I was 8 years old considering all these things, and I decided then and there that I wanted to do something significant with my life. And okay, fair enough, you know, I've not gone into outer space, and I've not cured the common cold, and I've not done anything to advance the knowledge or understanding of mankind, but I have contributed in a positive way, I like to think, to most of the people whose lives mine has impacted on. And in that sense, I decided to declare victory a long time ago because it is just a blip, and you might as well find whatever meaning you can.